Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thanks very much for watching that earwax removal compilation video today. So you'll see this first particular patient here. This was a lovely lady that came through, bless her. She'd basically been to another earwax removal clinic, and they'd attempted to get this wax out, but oh my goodness, she was in so much pain when they were trying to do it. So she was so nervous. They had 2 attempts at removing it, and they said they'd have to refer to ENT. So she found us on YouTube and came through the clinic. But yeah, bless her, very nervous lady, understandably so as well, to get this wax out. But you can see we've got some very, very deep wax here. Now, in fairness, it was pretty hard wax, and it more than likely would have been a little bit harder than this when the first clinic had a go, but we can see it start to come away really nicely here. I think this is where the endoscope comes into its own. When you've got the endoscope in there, you can get a really, really clear view, very deep in the ear canal. A lot of guys tend to use things like loupes, and it becomes a lot more difficult to get a really good view deeper in the canal at that point. So at least when you're in with the endoscope, you can have a good look around, you can see exactly what's going on. So we can take things like this, which is very deep, just in front of the eardrum. We can take this away really safely. So it's come away really, really nicely here. You can see we've got the big block out. Just clearing away some of this old dead skin that's been sitting behind the ear canal. Now, this ear canal was still very, very tender, bless her. Now, this poor lady was taking painkillers every 4 hours just to try and sort of ease the discomfort in the ear canal. So what I can see here is a lot of dead skin, a lot of sort of mushier material that's been trapped behind that wax plug. So we're just going to tidy this up a little bit. Now, I'm trying to avoid touching the canal walls as much as I can, just because this lady was in so much pain when she, you know, even just up to a day or so before she came through the clinic. I didn't want to aggravate that and trigger that off again. So I've switched down to the fine end here just to get these last couple of pieces away. And you can see how it all collected down in the recess there, but it's coming away really, really well. Lady was so pleased to get this out. It had been stuck in there for so long, bless her, and it just happened to completely block up the ear canal following a washing of the hair, you know, having a bath or a shower. Just a bit of water got in there and just really blocked everything up. But it's looking so much better. You can see that pinkness, that aggravation further in the ear canal there as well, which is why we're not going to spend too long tidying up the canal walls. I'd rather let that ear sort of heal itself up a little bit. These last couple of pieces are not going to affect hearing whatsoever. But you'll see here as we start to lift this last section, how the base of the canal's gone really white and looks a bit like wax. This section here we're working on, that's wax. But then when we try and lift up the next section, that's actually dead skin we can see there, and it's really kind of irritated and aggravated the ear canal. Now, this lady had also used some sodium bicarbonate drops, and when you use bicarb drops, some people have a reaction to them. It's rare, it doesn't happen to everybody, but some people have reactions to bicarb or peroxide drop, and that's exactly what happened. And the ear canal started to swell and wrapped itself around that hard plug deep in the ear canal, which you can imagine would be pretty excruciating. If you've ever had earache, it's one of the worst kind of discomforts you can get, along with toothache, I would say. There's just no getting away from it. But this is what it looked like to start with. And if we take a look behind that, you can see we've managed to expose the eardrum. There's a couple of little dots left, but I'd rather the patient have a really good experience, and then they're more likely to come back and get this done again. Those last couple of dots will work their way out. The ear will expel that all by itself. So this is the other ear canal here. You can see very similar and very tough piece of wax on this side as well. Now, patient hadn't experienced any pain on this side, but had experienced a little bit of sort of intermittent hearing issues on this one. So we're just taking away some of the looser material first here with the suction. Hopefully, if we can lift this up, which is what we've done there, we can get a good enough grip. We can pull this whole plug forwards. But what you'll see is as we've lifted this up, that back section of the plug is a little bit wider than the front, so it's actually got stuck. It's not coming down, but I can see there's a teeny tiny gap there, which is perfect for the Rosen inserter. So I'm just going to aim to get that in. Obviously, really don't want to touch the ear canal walls here with the inserter. So I'm going to push into the wax and start to draw this forward. And it starts off by coming away really, really well. But what you'll see is the top portion then starts to peel away. There you go. So it meant we lost that grip then. So we're just going to tidy that loose little bit up there. Back in then. I need to reposition this wax. I'm just going to try again with a suction. If we can get it out now, we've pulled it forward slightly, but it's still pretty firmly wedged in there. So back in now with the Rosen inserter again. And we're going to drop this into the wax again. I can see that top section just starting to give a little bit. So I'm going to push a little bit further in. There we go. Now that plug is starting to come away. You can see it coming all the way around the corner. There it goes. And out that comes. So a fair size plug. Oh my goodness, this poor lady was so relieved to get this out and be able to hear properly again in both ears. You can see this is what it looked like to start with. So a pretty full ear canal there. And then this is what it looks like afterwards. You can see looking much better. So these are the plugs we removed. So that big one there up to 1 centimetre, around about the sort of 3/4 of an inch to just under 1.5 inches. That was the plug from the second ear, but all the rest they came out the first ear. So we've got what, just under 1.5 inches. I'm going to go with just under 3.5 centimetres there as well. So this is the second patient in the compilation. You can see a very different type of wax here. You've got that sort of looser, wetter wax that's actually come out to the ear canal there to the right hand side. And then we've got this sort of sticky plug or blob of wax sitting just inside the ear canal. So you can see I'm just collecting it all up into the suction to try and grab this, try and keep it all together if we can. Oh, you can see just how sticky this wax is. You can always tell as it sort of pulls away, it doesn't break, it sort of stretches like toffee or taffy as it's coming out of the ear canal there. So just trying to detach this from the canal wall. We've got a couple of loose head hairs in there as well. You can see we just got sucked in with the machine as well. It's always difficult sometimes if someone's got quite short hair that won't quite tuck behind their ear, but it's long enough to dangle down in front. That's when it becomes a little bit more awkward. But you can see we're just trying to get a grip on this top section. Oh, it's so sticky. It's this sort of strange consistency where it's slightly softer, but it's got this kind of almost sticky core to it. And it's, as you're moving it, you're moving this sort of softer section back and forth, but we're not really getting the core out. So we're going to go in with the Jobson horn here. And we're going to go over the top, hopefully get into that more solid core, draw this forwards. Not quite, just sort of unpeeled. You can see that central harder core there and that softer wax that unpeeled from the outside edges. Back in again, there we are, we've hit another blob of soft wax. Let's try and get into this harder stuff at the bottom. We're gonna have to push down a little bit further. You can see how the Jobson horn is just pulling straight through that wax. We were hoping it was going to hit that sort of slightly more solid core, but it looks like it's just a little bit too soft. So let's get rid of this long protruding piece here on the side. Let's go back in, scoop that away. There we go. Let's get that gone. Oh, you can see it doesn't want to let go. Look how sticky that is, and that's the consistency all the way through. So it just wants to bind to the other pieces of wax. It's kind of it's the sort of Terminator 2 of wax. You know, when it explodes, little bits go back together. It's kind of a bit like that. It always wants to bind itself back together, this one. So it's just starting to come away. There we are. Another big scoop. Look at that. That is such a long piece where it's all kind of unraveled but stayed attached to itself all the way through here. So you can see it's still looking a little bit messy in there. Let's try and tidy this up a little bit. Let's get rid of some of these stickier bits. Some really annoying little hairs getting in the way all the time. The difficulty is when you pull a big piece of wax out, if you've got hair sticking in it, the wax will want to stick to the hair. And then you've got to kind of use the suction tube to try and get rid of it. It's not nice. But we're just getting rid of these couple of little pieces here. This sort of sticky sort of outer layer and this dead skin layer that's all coming. Look at all that coming away there. My goodness me, we're having to fight this all the way out. You could put a little bit of olive oil in here and that would help with some of that more stickier bits. But I think at this point we're working so close to the outside edge. If we put olive oil in there now, I think that's all it's going to do. It's just going to coat those cilia and then it's just going to get all over the camera and everywhere it shouldn't be. Look how that is fighting. It really does not want to come out to that ear canal. You can see it is very at home in there, but that took some getting out. let's have a look behind that. We've got a couple of little bits of these dry skin here. So my advice for this particular patient, when you've got this very sticky wax, my advice for a lot of people actually with their wax, is to pour a little bit of olive oil in on a regular basis. Do it once a month, just a drop or two. It's not going to be enough that's going to block you up, but it's just going to help with all those kind of dry bits of skin, and especially with very sticky type wax. You can see that dry skin coming away from the edge as well. With a very sticky type wax like this, it gets absorbed into the wax and it just takes that sticky nature. It's less likely to bind back together. And there's the eardrum. So this is what it looked like before. And, oh, there we go. Oh, a nice slow fade. There we are, guys, into the eardrum. It looks really healthy. So this is what we removed. I'm going to say that's just over 4 centimeters and 1 3/4 inches. Or 1 11/16, guys, if you're really super duper precise. But you can see it was quite a bit between those 2 ear canals there. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did voicing it over. As always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another. And I shall see you again on Saturday's video. Bye, everyone.